Welcome! This module will provide an overview of cognitive development items, one of the essential domains of school readiness and Vermont's unique tool in determining school readiness, the Ready for Kindergarten survey. There are 11 questions in the cognitive development domain. For each question, teachers may rate children using one of 3 levels of mastery, that is, beginning, practicing, or performing independently. For every question, a detailed description is provided for every level of mastery. This is called a rubric for ratings. In the Ready for Kindergarten survey, this rubric for ratings can be found below each question. This rubric assists teachers in accurately recording what children know and can do in relation to the question of interest. The examples provided in this video are classroom-based. However, viewers are encouraged to think of how these questions could be answered based on feedback from family members about what their children know and can do at home and in the community. Let's take a look at the first item. Cognitive Development Item 1. A child uses classification and seriation skills. This item focuses on a child's patterning skills. That is, a child's ability to group, classify, sort, or organize objects by one or more attributes, such as object's shape, size, quantity, texture, or orientation. When scoring this item for children, look at how often they can both classify and order familiar objects. For example, can they do this rarely, often, or consistently? Cognitive Development Item 2. A child engages in sociodramatic play. The second indicator focuses on children's engagement in sociodramatic play. This type of play usually involves a social script and requires children to take on a specific role within the script. This type of play is also collaborative in nature. Due to this, when observing children engage in sociodramatic play, teachers may also observe children's skills, behaviors, and knowledge that are representative of their development in other essential domains of school readiness, such as social, emotional, and communication items. Cognitive Development Item 3. A child shows awareness of parts of books and their purposes. Children identified as beginning for this item are still learning print concepts, such as the parts of a book, reading books from left to right, and they may usually need adult support to point out pictures, symbols, or letters in a book. They may also use books in an inappropriate manner, such as throwing, sitting on, or standing on books. Children who are identified as practicing this item sometimes uses books correctly and may still need minimal adult guidance to do this. They may even be seen pretending how to read from left to right. Children who are performing this item independently are using books correctly without adult support, and they may be reading some simple words in the text. Cognitive Development Item 4. A child recalls and explains a sequence of events. For example, they can retell a story or a recent experience. Engaging children in retelling events, stories, and experiences is an excellent way to learn more about what they know and can do. When determining how to score a child's mastery for this item, consider the following. Children scored as beginning offer few details or explanations when telling their story, and they often need adult support. Children who are practicing in this item can tell the story with some details and need little to no adult guidance to do so. Children scored as performing this item independently can tell most of the story with great details and explanations and need little adult guidance. Cognitive Development Item 5. A child demonstrates knowledge of the alphabet. Based on pilot feedback for this item, it has been changed from previous readiness surveys. Children who are scored as performing this item independently are able to recognize the names and sounds of 10 or more English letters of the alphabet, both capital and lowercase, without adult guidance. If children can do this with minimal adult guidance, they are rated as practicing. Children who can recognize and name only a few letters in his or her name, or who need more adult guidance to recognize letters in general, can be scored as beginning for this item. Cognitive Development Item 6. A child demonstrates phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is children's ability to hear, identify, and manipulate the individual sounds in spoken words. This includes children's skills with rhyming, alliteration, segmenting, and blending syllables. Children's level of mastery for this item are distinguished by children's ability to recognize rhyming words, identifying words that start with the same sound, and identifying syllables in words. When children are competent in these skills and can do them with few errors, then they are rated as performing independently. Please note that these skills can be demonstrated in either English or a child's primary language. Cognitive development item 7. A child uses symbols or letters to write their name or to represent words or ideas. Children who are usually or often writing letters and symbols to represent their name or words can be scored for this item as performing it independently. If children do this behavior sometimes, they can be considered practicing. And if these skills are rarely seen in the classroom, teachers can score the children as beginning. For this item, take into consideration children's unique backgrounds. Children may express what they know and can do for this item in both or either their primary or secondary language. Cognitive development item 8. A child shows ability to count, quantify, and connect numerals with their quantities. When scoring this item, you might ask yourself several questions. For example, what is the child's accuracy of counting? Does he skip numbers? Can the child estimate the quantity of a small group of objects? Does the child understand which groups have more or less? And does the child use one-to-one correspondence when counting? Note that children may demonstrate occasional struggles and may still be rated as practicing for this item. Cognitive development item 9. A child can identify several basic geometric shapes, for example, square, rectangle, circle, oval, triangle, just to name a few. When children are rated as beginning, they do not name geometric shapes correctly. They may need adult guidance, or they may have some confusion or errors in shape naming, for example, calling a rectangle a square. When a child is rated as practicing, they can name approximately 3 or fewer geometric shapes correctly. Still, children may have some confusion distinguishing appropriate features of shapes or may make some errors in naming. When children are rated as performing independently for this item, they can name 4 or more geometric shapes correctly, and they may be able to do so in sophisticated ways. For example, describing a triangle as an obtuse triangle. Cognitive development item 10. A child understands and uses positional words. When children are rated as beginning for this item, they may follow simple directions related to positional words. For example, place your trash in the garbage can. Put your hands down. When children are scored as practicing for this item, they understand, respond to, and use positional words, though they may still make some errors at times. Children identified as performing independently for this item use and respond to positional words accurately with no errors. Cognitive development item 11. A child uses the scientific inquiry skills such as predicting, collecting data, explaining, or drawing conclusions. This item focuses on learning strategies that make up the scientific inquiry process. This includes asking questions, participating in simple investigations, forming hypotheses, gathering observations, drawing conclusions, and forming generalizations. Teachers should note whether a child uses these skills rarely, sometimes, or consistently to help identify what level of mastery a child has reached. Also note that data collected to assist in answering this question may also prove helpful for responding to the approaches to learning item number 3, which is a child uses a variety of learning strategies in their classroom. Here's a chance for you to practice. What rating would you provide? Examine these pieces of documentation and answer the following questions. Question 1. Which cognitive development item do you think can be measured for this child? Question 2. Using the rubric for ratings, what level would you rate this child at? Pause the video here to review the data. Begin the video when you are ready to hear the answer. Answers. Question 1. Which cognitive development item do you think can be measured? The cognitive development item that could be measured is Cognitive development item 3. A child shows awareness of parts of books and their purposes. Question 2. Using the rubric for ratings, what level would you rate this child? Based on the rubric for ratings, this child could be rated as practicing. However, more data might be needed to confirm this rating. Thank you for watching this module on cognitive development items, one of the essential domains of school readiness and Vermont's unique tool in determining school readiness, the Ready for Kindergarten survey.